Owning a hypercar doesn't start with buying the car. Everyone understands that you need to pay millions to acquire one of these vehicles. That's the obvious part. That's the number that gets discussed at dinner parties. But that acquisition cost is just the beginning of the financial commitment. The real cost shows up after the car is parked in your garage. It appears in your monthly bills. It appears in insurance statements. It appears in maintenance invoices. Fuel costs, storage fees, depreciation calculations, insurance premiums that seem designed to protect against financial apocalypse. Today, we're breaking down what it really costs to own a hypercar for just 1 year. And no, the purchase price is not the shocking part. The shocking part comes after. Let's assume you've already bought the car. You've written a check for $2 million, $3 million, $5 million, maybe even more. At this level of wealth, the buyer is typically prepared for that number. They understand what they're spending, they've done the math, they've made peace with the acquisition cost. What they're rarely prepared for, however, is how quickly the ongoing costs add up, how aggressively the expenses compound. Because hypercars are not designed to be owned cheaply. They're not engineered with cost efficiency in mind. They're designed to exist at the absolute apex of performance and luxury, regardless of what that costs, regardless of how much money needs to be spent to keep them running. Insuring a hypercar is nothing like insuring a normal vehicle. It's not even like insuring a standard luxury car or supercar. Even specialized luxury insurance companies hesitate when you walk in with a hypercar. The risk profile is different. The replacement costs are astronomical. The potential damage scenarios are unprecedented. Coverage for a hypercar often includes provisions that don't exist in standard policies. Worldwide transport coverage, track damage coverage, replacement parts availability guarantees, specialized repair facility requirements. The insurance company needs to ensure they can actually repair or replace the vehicle if something catastrophic happens. Annual insurance for a hypercar can range from $80,000 to over $200,000 per year. And that's assuming a perfect driving record. That's assuming the car is stored securely. That's assuming mileage is limited and documented. That's assuming the owner doesn't do anything remotely risky with the vehicle. One claim, however, can change everything. One accident. One incident at a track day. One departure from the policy guidelines and premiums can skyrocket instantly. Insurance companies will drop coverage or demand astronomical increases. The cost can double or triple based on a single event. Hypercars don't believe in optional maintenance. There's no such thing as skipping this service or I'll do it next year. Oil changes are not routine procedures. They're significant events. Some hypercar engines require complete panel removal just to access the oil. Special tools, factory-certified technicians, diagnostic equipment that costs more than most cars. A single annual service for a hypercar can cost $25,000 to $50,000, sometimes more, depending on what the service reveals. And skipping service, that's not an option. Skipping service can permanently damage the vehicle's value. It can void warranties, it can create mechanical problems that become exponentially more expensive later. Let's talk specifically about tires, because this is where the absurdity becomes really apparent. Not 4 tires, not a standard set of performance tires. A complete set of hypercar-approved tires can cost $30,000 to $50,000. Why is a set of tires so expensive? Because they're custom-engineered for extreme performance. Because they expire by age, not by wear. A tire might have thousands of miles of tread remaining, but if it's 3 years old, it needs to be replaced. Some hypercars require tires to be replaced every 1 to 2 years, regardless of actual mileage driven. Drive the car aggressively once. Take it to a track for a single day. That tire budget can double instantly. The compounds degrade. Hypercars don't sip fuel. They don't have efficient engines designed to maximize miles per gallon. They demand fuel constantly. And not just any fuel. High-octane fuel only. Sometimes race-grade fuel specifically formulated for extreme performance. Fuel costs might sound minor at first. Who cares about fuel when you're spending millions on a car? But then you realize how inefficient these vehicles can be, how quickly they consume fuel when driven hard. Annual fuel costs can easily reach $15,000 to $30,000 for very limited driving, for careful, conservative driving with no track use. And that's assuming the car is even driven at all. If you use it actively, add another $10,000 to $15,000. Most hypercars aren't daily driven. They're not commuter vehicles. They're stored carefully, often in climate-controlled garages with sophisticated environmental management. Battery tenders keep the electrical systems charged. Humidity regulation systems protect the interior and mechanical components. Professional storage alone can cost $3,000 to $6,000 per month. That's $36,000 to $72,000 annually, just for keeping the car safe and protected. Then there's transport. When you need to move the hypercar, it cannot be casually driven. Enclosed transport only. Insured carriers with specialized equipment. International logistics companies experienced with exotic vehicles. Here's where ownership becomes a gamble. Some hypercars appreciate in value. Ferrari Testarossas, early Porsche 911s too, classic exotics that gain value over time. But other hypercars lose hundreds of thousands of dollars the moment they're driven off the dealer lot. The moment someone takes delivery, the value drops. Mileage matters enormously. Service records matter. Market mood matters. Whether that particular model is currently fashionable matters. A bad year in the market can mean a hypercar owner loses $300,000 to $700,000 on paper. A good year, you might gain value. But only if everything is absolutely perfect, only if the car has been impeccably maintained, only if mileage is minimal, only if the model remains desirable. This is what owners never plan for, the unexpected costs. A warning light appears on the dashboard, a sensor fails, a software issue emerges. These things are minor in a normal car. You take it to a technician, they fix it, you move on. But in a hypercar, minor problems can become major, because the parts aren't sitting on shelves. The specialized components don't exist in inventory. They have to be ordered. They might be manufactured only by the factory. Single unexpected repair can cost $50,000 to $100,000 without warning. And waiting months for parts? That happens, often. The car sits in the garage while you wait for a component to be manufactured, shipped, and installed. So let's be honest about the total annual ownership cost for a hypercar. A realistic one-year ownership cost often lands somewhere between $300,000 to over $1 million per year. And that's before depreciation. That's before transport disasters, that's before accidents or theft or any catastrophic event. That's just the basic expected routine costs of keeping a hypercar operational and properly maintained. Owning the car is a commitment to continuous spending. It's not a hobby, it's not a part-time interest. It's a financial obligation that requires hundreds of thousands of dollars annually. So why do people still buy hypercars? Why do people take on this financial burden? Because at this level of wealth, the cost isn't a problem. It's not a barrier. It's simply the price of admission. It's the price of access to something that few people on Earth will ever experience. Owning a hypercar isn't really about driving. It's not about commuting or practical transportation. It's about participating in the extreme edge of luxury. It's about being part of an exclusive community. It's about the status and identity that comes with ownership. The money is secondary. The access is primary. And for those who can afford it, that access is worth every penny.